Creating a YouTube studio at home is just the best. It allows you to be efficient with your time so you can focus on what matters most, the content. See, that's what it's all about. When you feel inspired, you should create. The last thing I want to do when I'm short on time is to have to recreate my YouTube studio each time I'm about to make a video. Even with the checklist, you do forget things like plugging in a microphone or putting on a background light or checking your teeth. It is the worst feeling when you get back to the computer after a shoot and realize you forgot something crucial. There's no audio. Why is there no audio? And have to reshoot again. Not only is this a waste of time, it's difficult to recapture that same enthusiasm you want to project to your audience. So today, I'm going to share some tips on what I've learned about creating a YouTube studio setup at home and how you might want to set yours up too, no matter where you decide to shoot. Let's go. A YouTube studio setup is not just where to put the camera or where to put the lights. It's about composition, framing your shot in a way that's pleasing to the eye. So this is the room I shoot my videos in. It's about a 9 by 12 foot space. It has big windows which offers nice daylight, but for the look I want to achieve, I actually prefer to black out the windows. In my last video, I talked about why using windows is tricky. They can be great, as I will talk about shortly, but for my setup, I want full control. Now, I want to create depth in my shot, so I shoot into the corner. I find this helps me create separation from my background, and it creates nice symmetrical lines. Where having a flat wall behind you is fine, I just prefer it this way. Since I shoot into a corner, in this room, it means I have to put my camera here. I'm using a Sony a6400 with a Sigma 16mm lens. Some people like a tighter shot. This is what I like. I like having the camera angle down slightly as not to highlight my chins, but that's just me. If you love your chins and want to shoot with your camera low facing up, respect. For audio, I use the Rode Video Micro, which is affordable, and I think sounds good as long as I keep it near me. Having the mic close to you is the most important thing when starting out. I don't like having a mic in my shot, so I bought this headphone extender cable and I just hang it out of the frame of the camera. You definitely need something other than the onboard mic to boost your quality and help tell your story. In this space, having carpet helps me with echo. If you have hard floors or bare walls, you might need to hang something or put stuff on the floors to stop the sound from bouncing around. Echo really affects the viewer's experience, so keep the mic close and muffle sounds in the room with cardboard or blankets while you're small, then upgrade as you grow. Hang blankets if you need to. For lighting, I started off with something like this as my main light. My next video will be on what lighting I actually recommend for small YouTubers, so I won't go into too much detail about what my lights are, but I've learned that it's all about soft lighting. You will want to diffuse your light with something like a softbox, and with softboxes, the bigger they are, the better. The key with lighting is you want to get as close as possible to it while you are recording without blinding the camera. Again, more on that in the next video. The bigger the light, the less shadows will be on your face, creating a nice even look. But most importantly, it's all about that catch light in your eye. The bigger the light, the bigger the reflection of light in the eye. As you grow, your main or key light should be the thing you invest in. This light alone can take a mediocre camera and make it look good. Good lighting with a mediocre camera will yield better results than mediocre lighting with a good camera. As far as where to put it, generally you want to put it on an angle in front of you and slightly pointing it down, giving complementary shadows. A lot of people usually recommend 3-point lighting where you have 3 lights, putting your main light at about a 45-degree angle, a fill light off to the other side, which is dim but picks up shadows, then a backlight lighting you from behind. That setup is fine, but when you get a main light that is this big or bigger, I don't find it necessary to have a fill light. Plus, since I have my main light here, I just use this white door to reflect light. Don't underestimate the power of reflection. Bouncing light or using paper goes a long way. Even using a shower curtain or a sheet to diffuse your main light if you have to until you upgrade to a softbox is totally fine. My favorite light I think every studio should have is the backlight. If I only had hair, this would look even cooler. When you go to a concert, it's all about highlighting the performer. In our videos, we're the performers, so having a light hit us from behind really helps us stand out from the background, creating that separation. Without it, you might sink into the background. For the background, this is where you get to let your personality shine. I've moved my studio multiple times because in my last space, I painted the walls a beautiful color, but the downside was I was tied to that one color for all my videos. I have since moved to a space with a more neutral background color and upgraded my background light to a color light hitting it. This way I can use color to customize each video and give a certain look or feel. For example, I did an Xbox Game Pass review and I used a green background because Xbox uses green. I like that freedom. Some people like a plain background, some people like it busy. You do you here, and there is no wrong choice. The whole point of this space is that it needs to be easy. So having everything plugged into the same power bar, for instance, can be a huge lifesaver. It's worth spending a few bucks to put every light on here, even if you have to buy an extension cord or two. Eventually, or if you can afford it, your lights will have their own controls, but I'm not at that level yet, so PowerBar saves me time from turning multiple lights on and off. Another little good investment is a white balance card. If you saw my last video, you know how I feel about this. And especially since my background colors change each video, I have to make sure I am always setting this before I begin to make sure my colors look good. Use paper to start, then upgrade to one of these. Checklists. Make sure you use them so you don't forget anything. For my pre-shoot checklists, I just use Google Notes on my phone. I have a couple little reminders for things that I often forget. Using reminders ensures you don't forget crucial steps. Don't trust your memory. All right, let's talk windows. Windows might be unavoidable for you. If that's the case, you have two options. Number one, block them out, or number two, use them. Windows offer a lot of light, which can be great. The problem is with clouds or trees blowing in the wind, the lighting can change constantly. The best option for shooting with a window is to make sure the light you use matches the color or temperature of the daylight. This will make it easier for your camera to understand what white is and make your skin and the colors in your video look good. If the window is in the background, as the strength of the sun increases as more light spills in, this will change the exposure of your camera on you. So just be mindful of it. Daylight does look great, it's just a little tricky. Play around with where to put the main light. Remember, there is no right or wrong. You will learn the more you experiment. This is such a fun process, and there will always be upgrades, but don't let not having the perfect gear or space ever stop you from creating content. However, if you are like me and really want to optimize for success, you'll want to work on your YouTube studio setup. So here's a recap of what I talked about. Find the best spot in your room or space to compose or frame your shot. Place your camera in a spot to make sure you are the center of that shot. Get the biggest, softest lighting you can. Play around with where to put it while sitting as close to it as possible without blinding your camera. Experiment with a fill light or something to bounce the light if you need to lift the shadows on your face. Use a backlight pointed at you to create separation and really make you pop. Put thought into the background shot. Make it nice but not too distracting. You don't want people to momentarily stop listening because they are reading the books on your shelves. Make it convenient. This should be a space you walk into and hit record. And there you go, a few things to think about to help get the party started. At the end of the day, the story you tell is the most important thing. But having a space where you feel inspired really goes a long way to making sure that the story is told with enthusiasm and excitement, because those are the kinds of stories people want to be a part of. Once you set up your studio, make sure you watch this video next. The advice I share in it took me a couple years to figure out, and hopefully it'll save you a big headache.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
See you next time on the Sad Live.
Dad!